Ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Fantasy Couch podcast. I'm joined with Sue Shane, aka the Dynasty Day Trader, and every week you see him on the show. We'll be doing a Dynasty segment. What's the segment this week? The dreaded 2025 draft class?
We're getting into it a little bit today, yeah. I mean, hey, there's gonna be
Okay.
still some good players available, but it's so few and far in between. So we'll cover a couple of them today.
Yeah, so that's what I titled it. And we have a lot of trade discussions. I got a lot of people asking me about trades, and I had like 2 or 3 names. So I promised them the past couple days that I'll come up with a list. So we have some nice trade targets, who to sell, who to buy. I guess everyone right now is talking about Montgomery and Gibbs. Fantasy's just been a total mess to me. I don't know. I'm not a happy boy right now. I put a lot of stock in Musgrave in some tournaments, and I even added him, and he's got a concussion. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have done well. Hope he gets well though. Hope he's out only this game, and he's fine. But there's a tweet right here. I'll just read it about Gibbs. So we go live right after Thursday night football, so kind of got to address what just happened and what's on everyone's mind, which is Montgomery and Gibbs. So Kevin Cole says, I now realize what Brad Holmes called Jahmyr Gibbs a positionless player. He literally meant he won't fill any of the positions on the field in the Lions offense. I mean, I actually didn't even look at what Gibbs did. I mean, I hardly saw him out there today.
He's
Um,
been, oh
Gibbs
God,
8
that's
rush
that.
attempts, 5 targets. I mean, that's not. I mean, it could have been worse. Last week was 2 targets. So I mean, this is kind of his normal stat line. It seems like, and right now I'm thinking that this guy's basically Jerick McKinnon. I don't really see any difference between him and McKinnon right now. Gibbs and McKinnon. That's
Yeah,
basically what he is. Just McKinnon maybe has a little bit more upside, but you're not even starting McKinnon really.
yeah. It's just DeAndre Swift all over again when he was on the Lions. Like it's just not being used right. It's just not happening. My expectations have been, severely not met. Like we're not even close, honestly. So I mean, I
Yeah,
get 9 points is solid. It's something like it's decent for a flex play. Like McKinnon, like you were saying. I mean, he's like a kind of like a spot start flex play, if you will. But that's not what I'm expecting from Jahmyr Gibbs. And then on top of that, we can get to David Montgomery now. 3 touchdowns. I mean, come on, you can't even get one to Gibbs. That's crazy. That is just a nightmare for fantasy football. I don't know how many people are starting Montgomery the week of, like the first week back of him getting, injured or whatever, but tough, man. Tough to see 34 points, even the first 2 weeks, much better than what Jahmyr Gibbs is putting up. Definitely
yeah.
concerned.
I told people to start Montgomery just because, not because I'm smart, just because there's not a lot of options out there. So I guess I'll take a small victory lap.
Find out. Yeah.
Because people are like, should I start this absolutely horrible crap or should I start Montgomery? And I'm like, just start Montgomery because there's not much of a choice. Yeah, it's bad, but I mean, look, the Lions are winning and Montgomery's getting the job done. He always gets in the end zone. Like as a football team, it's working. There's nothing you can do with Gibbs. Even no one's buying him right now. Like I
Yeah,
sent
that's
out a
fine.
trade offer week 1, like it was a low ball, it got rejected, and I'm not sending out any more trade offers for Gibbs. So you're just stuck with him. Here's like the bright side, right? It could have been worse, I guess. You could have Najee Harris, who we're gonna talk about. Let
True.
me read
Yep.
some
That's a
comments
bad
here.
situation.
What to do about Gibbs? Nothing. You can't do
Oh,
anything. Yeah, what's Albert in the building? And Montgomery went off. We got the news update. I'll post that as soon as I'm
nice.
done with the podcast. Yeah, I played Gibbs over Monty. That's a weird move in fantasy when you have both those guys. Like, I don't know how that happens. That's like having Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Yeah, it
Oh,
just doesn't work.
it's
Just
very
doesn't work.
rare. It's very rare. So, actually, I do have something that's not totally depressing. So, I have
Hey,
something that I've learned, and I've learned it last year, but I've learned it much more this year. And this is a great golden rule. It all actually came from a hater on YouTube that mentioned that my Ken Walker take was absolutely horrible, and that's fine. I'll take the L. And I said told people not to draft him, but I think my reasoning was sound. Um, but I've figured out that was the only anomaly. So this golden rule really does stand the last 2 years. So whenever there is a running back, and then right behind him there's a talented running back as the RB2, it's a
okay.
good golden rule to avoid that RB1. So remember how you took
Oh,
Aaron Jones
yeah.
in that tournament, you reached for him, and then
Yep.
that just your first
Totally
pick
backfired.
ended it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like a me drafting like JT. And so we see the same thing last year also. I mean, it's hard to really this actually happened. It's hard to actually think that this was realistic. People drafted Ezekiel Elliott in round 3, and Tony
Yeah.
Pollard
No, that's the
was
thing.
going late round 6 in my leagues, but his ADP was round 7. And
Hmm.
so, you got Tony Pollard for about 65% off the same price as Ezekiel Elliott. And, lo and behold, Ezekiel Elliott was basically a really good fullback, while Tony Pollard was like a top 6, top 7 running back last year. So, and this example just keeps going on and on. But my other takes were right. Khalil Herbert, RB1, right? You could have got Roshan Johnson for 70% off the sticker price that you would have paid for a brand new Khalil Herbert vehicle. And that ended up working out right now. Roshan Johnson's essentially the RB1. It's kind of like a 55-45 split, that's how I kind of put it, just to
Hmm.
simplify it in terms. And so this stands with pretty much every example. So whenever you see this type of backfield, watch out. Just beware, right? There's never going to be an exact rule in fantasy, but we see it right now again. Like, this is literally Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, except the thicker guy is the one scoring in this case. It's usually the skinnier guy who's going off, but in this case, it's the thicker guy. So David
Hmm.
Montgomery would be the thick boy, and Gibbs is the skinny athletic guy, the
No,
fast
I'd
guy.
say I'd go one step further. I think you could even make the argument that this happens to not all, but most wide receiver rooms like that, right? So think of like a couple of years back, everyone's drafting Brandon Ayuk, and Debo Samuel is like a round 9, round 10 redraft pick, and he's the one who pops off. And then even further down the road from that, I think Robert Woods versus Cooper Kupp. I think Robert Woods was actually when he was on the Rams was drafted ahead of Kupp. Sure enough, Kupp is the one who is, obviously still relevant today. And then one more example for you, over in Seattle, DK Metcalf versus Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's been smashing it lately. So he's definitely, I think that point could still hold for
I
wide
think
receivers. Not all
I
the
think
time
it's
though.
that's a totally different point, because also the
Okay.
guys you mentioned, actually all 3 of them are all fantasy relevant, and all could have, like, I'm not depending on what you did what year, and if it's dynasty or redraft. Robert
Hmm.
Woods did finish above Cooper Cup one year. Ayuk, Debo, they're both relevant, and DK and Lockett are both relevant too. So that
Yeah,
this
I
is
see.
this is
Okay.
like that's
This is a
totally
different.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you got
Okay.
2
I get what you're
talented,
saying.
this is you drafting a guy in round 3 when his backup is going round 8. That to me is buyer beware. And so, yeah, it
Yeah.
did not work with Ken Walker, But I still like Charbonnet. Like, and that's the
Hmm.
thing. Like, it was a bold take on my part to be like, don't draft Ken Walker. Just get Charbonnet for cheaper. Because I was a huge believer in Ken Walker. I've pushed a ton of propaganda since he was before. I don't even know if he was on the team yet. I don't even think he got drafted yet. I was coming out with a lot of videos on Ken Walker. I loved
Hmm.
him. So it was tough. But it's just a bad sign. I mean, why like I don't know, man. It's a bit messy, but just watch out when that RB2 is right behind that RB1 and he's a good RB2. Like, definitely just watch out because the coaches, they don't really have it. They'll just be like, all right, we're gonna go with the guy who can pass block better, or who we trust more, or who's more comfortable, or who's got fresher legs, or the opposite, like who's just more of a veteran.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's kind of tough. So just watch out. And that's kind of what we learned. I've actually said this is not a I told you so because I believed in Gibbs a lot. I loved his talent. I just
Same.
was telling you guys, kind of like same thing with Justin Fields. I wasn't like telling people that I hate Justin Fields and nobody should draft him or anything like that. But I don't have him on any of my fantasy teams because I was worried about the huge risk and people
Yeah.
like the sexy pick. And it was the same thing with Gibbs. Nobody really was talking about the downside. Some people were. There was actually, I got to give him props. There's actually some crazy people on Twitter that were saying that Gibbs would be irrelevant and Montgomery would get all the carries. And they're right.
I do
There,
remember that. Yeah.
that was not. I was showing you.
Somehow.
I was like, these guys are crazy. Like, these guys are nuts. Like, I was like, it's going to be 50-50. That's what I thought. So yeah, man, we just got to
I don't know, man.
beware, live and
I'm hoping
learn.
for it's like an ease in type of thing, but it's not looking that way. And plus, Montgomery, I think, is signed for Detroit, is signed with Detroit for I think 3 more seasons or 3 years in total. So it's not like anytime soon. It's not going to change unless Montgomery just falls off a cliff. But I mean,
Um,
to your point, I know Ken Walker is the kind of the odd man out of your theory, but
and
even for him, it's
he's
only week
super
three.
talented. It's
He's
super
super talented. It's
talented.
only
Like,
week three, week four.
that's the thing. Like, he's awesome. Like, so it's like
Yeah,
I don't
of
even want to
course.
hate on it. And so
Yeah.
I love some of these comments here. So this guy remembers, he's on Facebook. This is not a robot or anything. It's just Facebook. You have to sign this thing and fill out this form. This is a real user, trust me. He says, "Yeah, you were last year. Ken Walker is the anomaly." Yeah, so people do remember me telling like Ken Walker is great in Dynasty. I love him.
Yeah.
This and that. Like, I really loved the talent. And then this is another really good comment. Maybe not so, but a good, maybe not a great comment, but a great topic. Omaha Paulie says, I don't remember Montgomery being this good while in Chicago. Well, guess what? I mean, no one was,
Yeah.
it's Chicago. So, it's different, right? Put a running back from Chicago into what was this? The Lions were like the number 4 offense last year
Hmm.
to the Lions with this O line, and they have a real quarterback, a real coach, a real offensive coordinator. I mean, everything's real now, and we know
Yeah.
the Chicago Bears, they're not real.
No.
They're the thing that lady saw on the airplane. That's what she was just pointing at the Chicago Bears. Oh,
Terrible.
you don't know the viral clip I'm talking about?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
How'd you not see this? You don't know about the airline lady?
I don't
I
think
thought
so. No,
I thought this was cringy because it's such like a played out meme that literally everyone has seen. You haven't seen the airline
I
lady.
don't think so. Maybe I have. I just can't remember
Bro,
it.
this
We'll
guy is
see.
crazy. This is like a top 3 viral moment in internet history and you haven't seen it? That's
Dude, I probably have.
crazy.
I probably
No,
have. Is it like
you
is it
haven't.
some
You would have
is it
known.
some Karen just like on an airplane
People
complaining?
call her a Karen. She's not a Karen. She just flipped out. Let's see if we can. Let me see if I
I
can get. I'll
guarantee I've
get her.
seen this. As soon as you show
No,
it,
you
I bet you I've seen it.
haven't.
I bet you I have.
Crazy airline lady. If you haven't seen it, yeah, definitely, dude. Everybody in the chat has seen it. Like this. Let's ask Drew. This would be if Drew has seen. Drew, have you seen the crazy airline lady? Drew's on social media though. He's a photographer and stuff, so he had to have ran by it like at least. Yeah, see, he's seen it and
And
her
her apology
apology
video.
video.
Okay, I have no idea what this is then.
So
Yeah,
you don't remember this
really no
lady
idea.
here?
Oh, I have seen. Dude, okay, yeah, no, I have seen it. I recognize
Okay, she
the
points, she
outfit.
says,
Yeah,
"That MFer back there is not real." That's the Chicago Bears. They're not a real team.
love it.
Okay, so you have seen this, right?
I've seen. Okay, I've never seen the one with the Bears. I love it.
No, no, no. I
That's
just
funny.
made that up now. That was
Oh
that's
yeah, what?
me.
Perfect.
Yes.
Fits the bill perfectly.
That's what I was saying. So I was saying the
Yeah,
Lions are a real team, and the Bears is what that lady saw. Yeah,
not
that's
real.
so that yeah, not real. So I mean, this is what it
That's
takes.
funny.
Like, this is what's happening. I liked Montgomery in Chicago. It's not even really that Montgomery looks good. I mean, he looks good. He doesn't look great. He just great O line, and they gave him what 30 carries.
Yeah, bulk
32
of
carries.
carries.
Like
32.
who cares who you are, right? You're 224 pounds, you're an NFL running back. Give me the ball 30, give it 34 opportunities. Like, come on. And you're destroying the Packers. Like, this is what's gonna happen. 3.78 yards per carry. So no, he's
That's
not
not bad.
looking like Ken Walker or anything. Like, he's not looking like insane. He looks like a poor man's Josh Jacobs. Well, not that's
He
kind of
looked very
complimenting last
average,
year.
which is what he looked like in Chicago.
Yeah, which isn't
Honestly.
bad though. I'm not trying to say he's bad,
Yeah,
but I don't think he's a top 10 RB talent.
he's
No.
solid. He's simply
Exactly.
solid. Not a
Yeah.
top 10 talent. Absolutely.
Kind of like a Miles
Agree.
Sanders, maybe like around there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Miles Sanders. That's a good one.
Yeah.
In that
So
top 15 range, maybe top 20, but definitely not top.
yeah, if you gave Miles Sanders the ball 34 times, like that's good enough to get a ton of fantasy points. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, great. Okay, so thank God you seen that meme because that is
Dude, I
just
100% have seen it. 100%.
okay.
As soon as
Okay.
you showed the image, I'm like, yeah, I know this.
That was
Okay.
a,
That came
that
up in
was
my
like,
that came up on my phone like 2 days ago only. So
oh, you just seen it?
I just saw it a couple of days
Okay,
ago
yeah,
too. Yeah,
it was like 3 weeks ago almost, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. So like it
There you go.
happened a while ago. And there's this whole conspiracy that when they interviewed her, it's not the same lady, but like why would they do like it's stupid. That's why when I made the joke, it was cringe. But anyway, anything else? He's the new better. Come on, couch. It's time to be a believer. He's with a new and better team. I don't know what you want me
Believer
to
in what?
say. Given a solid running back 34 carries on a good team. I mean, we're basically saying the same thing, Noel. Like it's like this guy's repeating what I said. Like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, he's good. Like, it's fine. I'm just saying he's not like to me, he's not Bijan Robinson. Like, that's all I'm saying. He's not Saquon. He's not that great. I don't think he's as good as Brees Hall either, but we'll get into it. Imagine Roshan with that O line. Yeah, it'd be pretty good. I think Roshan's a better talent than Montgomery. Yeah, it'd be pretty good. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're all come on, guys. We're all on the same page. This doesn't require like genius analysis. Like, but I thought that was some good insight that I mentioned. Again, just to summarize it really quick. You draft in an RB1 in fantasy, let's say round 3, but he's got a talented or proven RB2 behind him going in round 8. Watch out. Watch out, because every time it's been bad. So we'll see, except with Ken Walker, which we'll see. I mean, it's kind of crazy that the Seahawks, I'm still a little surprised the Seahawks drafted Charbonnet so early. I was not high on Charbonnet, but I thought he was a solid prospect nonetheless. We'll see. And then he gets used a lot. He keeps getting used more and more. Anyway, I'm going to dive into the segment because Charbonnet is on there a little bit. Let's go right into the segment. At the end, we will answer your questions. If you do have a question about the specific topic I'm talking about, I'll answer it, or the specific topic in pertaining to the dynasty segment. We'll try to answer right then and there, but we'll answer questions at the end. This is a podcast, so let's just jump right into the content. And I got a lot of content for you guys. Okay. So first one we're going to do, I never sell low. Or 99% of the time I don't sell low. I'm greedy. I'm cheap. I'm stingy with the trades. I'm known for that. I don't trade to trade. Um, I don't do that. So I'm not big on trading. But there's two exceptions, kind of like how Ken Walker's the exception to the rule. There's two exceptions on guys that I would ship immediately. And you know what? I don't have Najee Harris in any league, and I have Darren Waller in one league, and I've already shipped him. So that's the next guy on this list. Sell low on Najee Harris. He is Trent Richardson 2.0. Everybody knows that he's slow. Everyone's talking about that on the internet. But also, let's not forget, last year he started to suck. He's not hitting these holes. Can you believe they tried to kind of cancel me on the internet for posting this? This is
I
insane.
remember this a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, this is insane. And the thing was like, I get if I was like, hey, like stupid coach, and like, look, I'm a football genius, like I know the X's and O's, and I'm a coach, and this is how you run the ball. All I was trying to tell people was like, dude, you guys should be panicking about Najee Harris in fantasy. That's all I was trying to say. By the way, I was right. And so all you stupid haters on the comment who are like, I mean, some people weren't even like, they were like, Couch, I love you. You're awesome at fantasy, but you don't know anything about real football. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm like, Najee Harris is running to the butt of his old lineman. Like, he's going nowhere. And that means we're getting no fantasy points. And on top of that,
Yeah.
he's not getting the catch. This is last year, by the way. He's not getting that
Hmm.
many catches as he was with Big Ben. So we're not getting the PPR points. So what am I going to do with 1 yard per carry, 2 yards per carry? That's, dude, that it's like literally the worst starting running back in all of football. I mean, Jalen Warren is way better than him. So this was a picture last year. And I mean, this guy's Trent Richardson 2.0. And just like the meme, I think that the crazy airline lady meme is much more popular. Please raise your hand in the chat if you don't know who Trent Richardson is. I'll give you a quick rundown. He was drafted by the Browns, pretty good running back prospect, pretty highly
Third
touted. Like
overall.
everyone liked. He went third overall in the NFL draft.
I believe so. Maybe fourth. Top
Wikipedia
five for
that.
sure. I'm do that
Drew
right now.
Drew
Top five for
Wikipedia.
sure.
I forgot we got Drew here too. Drew Wikipedia that. So but he did really good. He got like some, let's just say like roughly 1,300 yards on the Browns, something like that. He was really good his first year. Then the Browns saw something, probably this stuff in practice, and they traded him away to the Colts for a first round pick. It was a crazy trade. It was one of those trades where you just drop your phone, and he just sucked. He sucked on the Colts. I guess he was on the Raiders. I don't even remember that. He played in the Canadian Football League. His stats were so funny. He had led the league like in touchdowns, but averaged like 2 yards a carry. You're
Yeah,
right.
it was
You're
bad.
right. Third overall. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Terrible.
essentially Najee Harris, right? A big, good prospect running back. Did really good his first year. Remember, I drafted him. I drafted him at the end of round 3, and he
Oh yeah.
finishes the third running back. I absolutely smashed it. It was a pretty heated debate when I was telling people to draft Najee in round 3, and I was telling people to draft Brees Hall in round 4 last year as well. Pretty heated debate. And man, whenever those
Hmm.
RBs go high like that and they're athletic and good, man, I always take them. And, I did that with Bijan this year as well. So
Yeah.
I would trade away Najee Harris to the guy in your league who watches the least football. The guy's like, oh, I just missed the game. But he says that every week. Oh, I just missed the game. I was busy. Oh, I woke up drunk. That guy who watches the least amount of football. Trade him to him because he knows the name Najee Harris. He might not know that he's Trent Richardson, the living embodiment of Trent Richardson. So trade him away, get whatever you can. I would go get a top defense. I would go get Jake Moody, get whatever you can for Najee
Oh wow.
Harris.
Okay. I see. Sell low. Let's
Yeah.
just get something. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Before you have to straight drop them.
I'm not necessarily saying a one-on-one, like you could do a package, but like upgrade your kicker, and then maybe I can get a RB, like maybe like
Sure. Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell, even a guy that's a sleeper cell who won't do anything, but would be a top 5 RB if CMC goes down. Any like
Hmm.
something like that. Boom. Um, Another guy I want to sell low on is Darren Waller. The Giants' passing attack is bad, and then we got Darren Waller. He has a nerve issue. Fantasy Docs on Instagram is saying that this is going to likely linger the entire season.
Oh
I'm
boy.
scared. Tight ends are a crapshoot. I mean, Sam Laporta, I think I can bank on. I think he'll be really good. Hawkinson, I'm banking on for sure. Kelsey, probably Andrews. I mean, that kind of list just kind of stops there, though. After
Yeah.
that, it's pretty much a crapshoot. And I'd rather put my chips in on the crapshoot that doesn't have lingering injuries. I mean, Darren Waller, some people may already label him as injury prone, and now he has this. And I mean, this guy, and I talked to him in the comments, and he said trade him away. Like he reiterated to me, trade him away, and so I did that.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so that's enough of the sell low segment. So those are the, I'm not going to tell you guys to sell low often, but those are the two: sell low, get rid of
Get
Najee
rid of
Harris, and
for
sell
whatever
low
you
on
can.
Waller. I mean, two guys with big names, so
Yeah.
you can
Yeah, for
you
sure.
you can get a running back
Mm-hmm.
for Najee, and you can get a tight end back for Waller. Like you can get Musgrave for free right now. He just had a concussion. Maybe you can get just Jake Ferguson. Who knows? Or a package deal for a Sam Laporta, or a package deal, maybe even for Mark Andrews. I doubt it because he has a huge name, but something. Okay, sell high on Dameon Pierce. Now this one, this one's not going to be that easy. Most of these are not that easy, but I did want to point this out. All right, first 3 weeks, these is his rushing yards: 38, 31, 31. I mean, not even 3 yards per carry. It's really not going to get it done. A little bit more encouraging. He's getting some targets. He's getting 3 targets every single game. So that's not that bad. But this is an offense that they're throwing to the wide receiver position, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Really. I mean, that's the upside there. You go get Nico Collins, you go get Tank Dell, and you're very satisfied. You're satisfied. I love
Yeah.
it. Other than that, there's really nothing going on here. There's no tight ends. There's no running backs. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. This one's going to be a niche sell, right? You got to find the right buyer. You have to find the
Sure.
one, and there's only about one in every league, Dameon Pierce Truther. So if you can find that guy, if he does exist, try and trade with him. But if he doesn't, like I said, this one's going to be a tough sell. Sell high on Dameon Pierce. He's a sell high because he just got in the end zone. If he didn't, we're looking at 5 fantasy points a week. That's
Yeah, not good, not
dude,
good. I
that
will
is
say one thing though. I will say one thing to help the niche kind of, the angle of trading here. A lot of guys, at least in Dynasty, maybe it'll start trickling over to redraft in a couple of weeks, maybe next week or so, or who knows. Starting to get some buzz around CJ Stroud. So CJ Stroud, running back, better offense. If you can kind of try to sell on that CJ Stroud hype, maybe that'll help you out. Just an
Yeah, I
idea.
mean, it's not a big selling point, but that's a good thing. Mention that. Hey, that
Yeah.
CJ Stroud looking sexy. Right, throw that out. You could throw that even in the chat like a week before you do this, right? Plant the seed.
Exactly.
And
Set
everybody's
it
gonna
up.
say yes, because everybody likes that young rookie quarterback. That he wasn't the number 1 pick. He's looking great, throwing a bunch of passing yards. People are saying he's the best passer in the league so far as rookie quarterbacks, which it's
Yep.
only week 3, but probably also true through 3 weeks. We'll answer questions at the end. So don't worry, I got you. Keep tuning in. We're almost done here. Sell high on Christian Kirk. Been saying this every single week. Zay Jones is questionable. He didn't play last week, and he might be back really soon. Once he's back, Christian Kirk will probably turn into a pumpkin. And this is the same exact topic. Buy low on Calvin Ridley. I have lost zero faith in Calvin Ridley.
Same.
He is the man. He's got talent. He's got talent. Small little tweak to Trevor Lawrence, right? We just got to adjust the carburetor a little bit. We got to do a little tune up, right? We don't need a new engine. We don't need new parts or nothing, right? We just need to take a
Yep.
towel, clean it up, get some screwdrivers, rev the engine, vroom, vroom. We're good to go with Trevor Lawrence. He'll be back, and Calvin Ridley will be the number 1 receiver on that team. I still love him.
Top 5, baby.
And here's, I'm trying to give you guys several options and attacking from several different angles. So this could hopefully help you out in one of your leagues. Buy low on Roshan Johnson. Now, if you're in a 10-team league, there's a good chance this guy's on waivers. So you can even go pick him up. I I'm pretty sure I told people to bench him last week. I'm telling people to start him this week in 12-team leagues. Great matchup against the Broncos, kind of like the two worst teams, two worst defenses playing each other. He is basically the starting running back. I've been pushing Roshan Johnson propaganda longer than anybody for the longest amount of time. I mean, I have him in all my dynasty leagues. I have him in redraft. I tell everybody to pick him up. And, this one's kind of working out, right? I think it's a 55-45 split between him and Khalil Herbert. It just keeps getting better and better. And the main thing is he gets the more important touches. He gets the goal line work and the third down work better pass pro. And Deontay Foreman, healthy scratch the last 2 weeks. That's huge.
Yep, huge for kind of sifting through the noise as far as it was a three-headed monster. Now, it's two-headed, and then Roshan is kind of, like you said, making a difference a little bit. I like it.
I wanted to just add some more names to really help out just about everybody here. Javonte Williams, super risky. I'm still scared. But here's what's going on. Everybody wearing an orange Crush Broncos jersey. All the fantasy owners are horrified. They are all across the board. Anybody who has a Broncos player is terrified right now. And so Javonte Williams stays healthy. I talked to doctors, right? They were assuming the ramp up would start anywhere from week 4, 5, or 6. So we're getting to week 4 here. So it actually is week 4. So the ramp up should start. And why not start against they face the Bears this week and the Jets. So it's kind of aligning with that. So if you do need a quick, dude, I need to get some W's, maybe I can start Javonte Williams because it's rough out there, man. Half the running backs are injured or they're busts. It's looking really bad. So if you can get Javonte Williams for cheap, and this is the reason why I'm telling you can get him for cheap, because he's wearing a Broncos jersey. Everyone is fed up with Broncos jerseys as fantasy owners. Zach Charbonnet keeps getting more and more touches. Let's take a quick look at that matter.
I love that one. That's one of my favorite ones, I think, so far.
Yeah. He's not really comfortable. He's not looking great, but he keeps getting more comfortable. And he's starting to look more like the prospect that we scouted, the power, confident running back. Okay, 24% snap count week 1, 26% snap count week 2, 43% snap count week 3, when I actually seen him not look bad. So he's just going to keep getting more and more work. Okay. Jaylen Warren, he's another one. Now, the problem with him is he's so low upside. Steelers offense is very boring. So, where's the upside here? But Jaylen Warren keeps just destroying Najee Harris. At this point, the coaches are starting Najee Harris because he's a first-round pick and has a big name. There's really there's no other reason the coaches are like, Najee, get out there and stay out there.
First round draft pick, So that's about it.
It's hard. It's hard, think about if he was an undrafted RB, he would probably
be gone. Dude, it's over.
He might not be. You don't think he'd be on the team?
Probably not. By now,
I think he might. I think so too. He might stay on the team because their depth sucks after those two. That was their whole problem. That's why they drafted Najee. McFarland, I think that's Benny Snell.
Yeah, Anthony McFarland.
Yeah, but he's like almost like a Trey Sermon or something, he is you would.
Another guy who should not be rostered in the NFL. Speaking of Trey Sermon, my goodness.
It's rough. It's rough times out there. My boy Leonard Fournette can't get a job, man, but everybody else is getting a job. Jake Funk has a job right now. Colts practice squad.
It's terrible. I like this one you're highlighting though.
Elijah Mitchell, we all know, he's not really relevant. I started him in that league I'm tanking in just as an emergency RB. So you can't really start him, but he is the best handcuff in all of fantasy. And then streaming options, if you want to get a week ahead, let's say you put somebody in the IR spot or something, you got a roster spot, go add the Commanders D for free. They play the Bears week 5. That should be a smash. They could be the best defense in week 5. And if you have roster space, you can go get them for free right now. After this podcast, I'm going to go add them in a couple leagues. I think that's actually,
I might do that.
I'm convincing myself more dude, you get them for free. They play the Bears and They're what? Like
Washington,
an
talented defense too.
above
Yeah,
average defense? Like that sounds great. Like that's a smash right there.
smash
Yeah.
play.
Broncos D. If you're desperate, you
Oh,
wanna be risky, you want to play with fire. This week they face the Bears, and next week they face the Jets. Zach Wilson's the starter there. That's
and they're
yeah.
coming off just allowing 70 points. So you know they gotta buckle down on defense. They're gonna make that make a conscious effort to at least try to.
They are,
I,
yes. No,
I, I, tried to,
that's
I
exactly
tried to
what I
say
was
that.
thinking. I was just laughing because, like, I mean, they got to actually do it too. But yeah, no, they
Right.
got embarrassed, and they don't want to get embarrassed like that again for sure. They're gonna be working hard. Sean Payton, he's gonna have them work hard.
That's a
Um,
sneaky one. I might add some Denver defense, man. That's 2 weeks right there.
Yeah, I saw that, Dak. I saw the Sharp. He did that a little bit. He did that in preseason. He had a good hit on a defender, and then he did it week 3, and so that's why I'm liking Charbonnet a little bit more. Not to take anything away from Ken Walker because he looks amazing. He looks just like he does last year, so he looks great. He's the man, and he's far more talented than Charb. So it is what it is. All right, guys, let's go on to the dynasty segment, and we will be answering questions. Let me see if there's trying to get Waller off my team. Yes, do it. Sell him for cheap. Really trying to get Char packaging Waller and Warren, but they want Waller and Kendre. Do it. I don't. I think Waller. I think Warren and Charb is a lateral move, so I don't think this trade's really helping you. I don't think Zach Charb is a No, see, look, the reason I have Charbonnet on this is because he was dropped in 10-team leagues weeks ago. Like I have
Yeah.
him here because I think you can get him for free. I think him and Warren are kind of on the same level. I would rather start Warren today. So I mean you can argue Warren's better. So I think you're giving up too much. I mean, if you really want to do Waller and Kendre, you could. That's kind of another lateral move, I guess. The Saints running backs aren't doing much, so I guess you could. I would not give up Waller and Warren. I would not do that. What about this? This looks like a fun comment and a good segue. Go ahead and read that if you
Sure.
could.
Michael Penix Jr. This is just Dak. He says Michael Penix Jr. is winning the Heisman. You have to talk about him. Clear best deep ball passer. More zip than Mike Vick ever had. Incredible. We will eventually get to Michael Penix Jr.
What
But
draft class is
today,
that?
next year, upcoming
2024?
2024, stacked QB class. Stacked QB class.
Wow.
Oh
So
yeah.
wait, you saying if I have like a number 4 pick, that's pretty good, huh?
Oh, it's phenomenal.
First? Oh,
Phenomenal in this draft.
wow.
Looks
Okay,
like it.
I gotta get me like a top 4, top 5 pick then. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Today though, as the title suggests, we are going to talk about 2025 class. I've kind of mentioned this a few times, Couch. I've kind of shown this graph a couple times as well. Look, the 2025 class is weak, but that doesn't mean it's not good. That doesn't mean that there's no talented players, that it's completely devoid of any fantasy football relevant players, right? But what that does mean is, compared to the class before it, which will be next year, 2024, we talked about some guys, Caleb Williams, the quarterback, Brock Bowers, the tight end. And then, I'm a dynasty guy. I like to look far ahead in the future a little bit. The class afterwards would be 2026. We haven't talked about anyone yet, but we'll get there soon. Comparatively, this 2025 class doesn't look, as great as those, right? So I guess I want to kind of start today by talking about why that is, right? And the best way to do that is to talk about the best players, right? Because there's a big problem with the best players in the 2025 class. And both of them come from the University of Colorado, which is quite the hot topic in college football. Deion Sanders. I'm sure a lot of people know who that is. Couch, maybe you've seen him play, maybe not. but we both have seen highlights. We both know what he's about as far as his football career goes. Now he's starting his coaching career, and he's got these two guys that, man, they are really taking over the college football world by storm. I mean, it's crazy. So the first guy is his own son. His name is Shedeur Sanders. He's a quarterback. He's a quarterback, and he is technically couch eligible next year, 2024 draft class. But I have a strong reason to believe that he will not be attending that draft. He will stay in college and will go to 2025 because his running mate, his kind of Batman Robin, his sidekick, so to speak, Travis Hunter, he's going to be eligible in 2025. So again, this is Deion Sanders' first year at Colorado. They're building up the program, and they're building with these two pillars: Shedeur Sanders, his son, and Travis Hunter, his main weapon, right? So let's first talk about Shedeur, okay? Obviously, couch, we play in super flex leagues. Quarterbacks are going to be very, very important for us. And as of today, he looks like he's the top quarterback in 2025. What does that mean? I'm not sure, because I'm really only basing this off of 3 games. That's the whole problem. That's kind of how desperate the entire dynasty community is of finding that kind of breakout guy in 2025, because the class is pretty weak or underwhelming. So, the top quarterback right now is looking like one of those kind of boomer bust, kind of, roll of the dice. I mean, there's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of excitement. I know, Couch, you saw him play last week. I think you were saying you watched the Colorado game. And then, in our group chat with Drew and Mike, who are also on the podcast, I know Mike is a big fan of Shedeur Sanders from what he was watching. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a wild card. It's a complete wild card. It's a complete unknown. We're really only 3 games in with, quality competition, so to speak. He was in the FCS last year, but, I mean, he played worse competition than even Trey Lance. And Trey Lance, we said about him that the competition was, an issue or a question mark, right? So same thing with Shedeur. And, I mean, that's basically where the problems start, right? Like, if your top asset or top quarterback, top player for Superflex is a question mark, what does that mean for the rest of the class? Well, let's move on to his running mate here. And his name is Travis Hunter. And, while Shedeur is Deion Sanders' son, Travis Hunter might be Deion Sanders' clone. Because this guy does not play just wide receiver, couch. He also plays corner. And he plays both of them at a very, very high level. And many scouts who, scout these college players for the NFL level, they say that Travis Hunter has the talent to be a top corner, a cornerback 1, CB1 on an NFL team, or the WR1 of his NFL team. The problem is, I don't think he's going to play as a two-way player in the NFL like he is in college. Like right now, he's playing both sides of the football, and he's playing a lot of snaps. I've talked to a lot of different people, whether they're, personal friends, coaches, some of the captains, other guys who know football. We kind of all have this kind of agreement where it's like there's no way he can sustain this type of workload, right? So when we're talking at the NFL level, okay, now you got to pick one or the other. Is it going to be a wide receiver, or is it going to be the all coveted franchise corner? And that's where I'm kind of getting worried, right? Because I feel like at the NFL level, he's probably going to play mostly corner and maybe have like a sprinkle of receiver, snaps here and there. So as far as fantasy football, I mean, he can be very talented. When he's on the field, he can be the best receiver on the field, but the volume might not be there to make it worth a pick in fantasy football. So that's the compounding issue, right? I told you that the top quarterback in this 2025 class is a question mark wild card. The top skill player might play defense. And if he does play offense, might not be very relevant because of the low volume. Now, the only issue is like, why am I even talking about these guys? It's because of there's this so much hype around him. It's crazy, especially when we're talking about Travis Hunter. There is hype that he could be not just the first corner or the first receiver or whatever selected in the 2025 draft. He might go number one overall. Now, Deion Sanders is the one who is primarily kind of pumping this out, which is his coach. Fine. But there's some guys who are, kind of nodding their head in agreement saying, yeah, this guy can win the Heisman as a non-quarterback, which is crazy. That's huge. Like, think like Devonta Smith level type stuff, right? And on top of that, number one overall pick for a non-QB. I was looking at some corners. One of the captains and I, Bob, actually, we were looking at some corners. I think Jeff Okudah was the highest ever. He went second overall. There's another one who went third overall and then fourth overall in recent memory. So it's not impossible. Derek Stingley,
somebody went. Yeah, he went right before Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner should have been picked there.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, it goes to show that the modern NFL is definitely valuing corner even more than receiver. It is a receiving, passing, pass happy NFL, but NFL, evaluators, coaches, decision makers are still valuing that corner position, and that makes me nervous completely. So that's going to be a shorter segment today because it's just going to kind of introduce to you guys these two players. But they're very exciting, they're very talented, but it's risky as far as fantasy football today. We'll get a clearer picture in the future, at least of Shedeur Sanders. But for Travis Hunter, I mean, this is a guy that I play in Devy Leagues couch, where I have the opportunity to draft these guys years in advance if I want to. I decided to pass on Travis Hunter because I'm too nervous that he's going to play more defensive snaps. And just to cover all bases here, even if you play in an IDP league, it's not great. Having a franchise corner, like one of those guys who are like a shutdown, lockdown corner, not good. For reference, Sauce Gardner, we all know he's amazing. He was the 399th ranked corner in IDP last year, basically not startable. So
that's not even. Is there even 399 corners in the league? Dang.
399th corner.
Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. That's like dead last as far as starting cornerbacks go. Like that's dead.
Yeah. And he put up points. He put up like 125 points or something. So that goes to show you that it's very, it's a lot of other DBs in IDP. I don't play IDP. I just want to throw that out there. Like, even if you're thinking like, okay, I'm in a Devy IDP league. Let me still take Travis Hunter because even if he's not a receiver, he can still give me some defensive points. Probably not going to be the case. No, he's just simply not a fantasy football type of player, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, so I think people get emotional about this because they want to see him be a wide receiver, but
yeah,
I'll put a little bit more specific. The NFL and NFL front offices value these shutdown corners a lot. Like wide receivers is a little more tricky because most teams start with 3 wide receivers, but the one corner that you can go and he can do anything and just kind of changes your whole defense where you can call certain plays or you can blitz or not blitz and, just gives you that freedom, like the Seahawks, the Legion of Boom, no fly zone Broncos. And now with the Jets, they draft Sauce Gardner. That whole that defense completely changed because now the second best corner, the best corner became the second best corner, and now their cornerback room got better. It just totally changes the whole game, and so that's why they value them. And so if they think Travis Hunter is going to be a shutdown corner like Sauce or Richard Sherman or Darrelle Revis, then I don't know how they just feel like. No, because that position is one of the most important in the NFL. Defensive coordinators love that. I don't know. It's a tough one, but that's all I really got to say. I don't know. Maybe he does play wide receiver. Maybe he plays limited snaps. Maybe a team drafts him as a wide receiver. But if a team thinks of him as a shutdown corner, I think it's a wrap. Because that's that. Like, I got to get this guy. He's the next Sauce Gardner. He's the next, so-and-so.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's unfortunate, but I will say we can kind of end this segment here at least. If you want to enjoy him as a receiver and corner at the same time. You can always watch them. You still have a couple years for college. And this particular weekend on Saturday, we're recording this live on Thursday Night Football. This Saturday, we covered Caleb Williams last week, right? Well,
Yeah.
guess who plays? Shedeur Sanders versus Caleb Williams. Probably not going to be a great game because USC is expected to kind of blow them out. But if you want to watch two really good quarterbacks, potentially really good quarterbacks, go at it. Tune in on Saturday. Should be a good one.
So that's going to be basically the number one fantasy quarterback being drafted in 24 and the number one fantasy quarterback being drafted in 25 in Dynasty rookie
For
draft.
now, yeah. Again, we're so desperate to find that 2025 guy. We've already kind of given Shedeur that mantle after 3 games, but that's where we're at as of today. Should be a very interesting game.
I'm definitely going to watch that one. I'm watching it.
Good.
Yeah. That's a crazy game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a fantasy dream, right? Now I'm playing Dynasty a lot. Like, I'm definitely going to be watching this game.
Oh yeah. Sure. That's pretty much all I had.
Yeah. This chart again. People screenshotting this right here.
Oh, I love it. That's good.
Everyone's screenshotting it. I love it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like stupid, simple stuff, right? A little bit of colors, a little bit of bar graphs. Everybody gets it. It's simple
and easy to understand for sure.
Yeah, it just breaks it down.
Yeah,
and it's valuable too. A lot of people like they want to know this. Like, okay, should I give them a 24 pick? Should I give them a 26 pick? You know, or should I just give them a crappy 25 pick?
Exactly. I've seen a lot of 25s get moved away. It's funny. It's good though.
All right, guys, I will answer your question. We will answer your questions. So I am here. James Conner and Jordan Addison for DeAndre Swift. Good trade. I think that's about an even trade. I mean, there's not a big difference between James Conner and Swift. Swift is better. I think he's a little bit younger. James, they're both injury prone. And then Jordan Addison, although he's good and ascending, a lot of teams don't really need him. He's probably your 4th wide receiver on your team. Yeah. But he is something. Like, it's not like he doesn't have value. And like I said, he is ascending.
Third option there. So he's a third option in the passing game. So it's not like
he's shaping up to be the second option.
Oh yeah?
But yeah, I mean,
ahead of Hawk?
Yeah, that's the debate there, really. I think he's past KJ Oz. He didn't pass KJ Osborne in the beginning. I think he's past KJ Osborne, and so now, it's pretty close between him and Hawkinson. Yeah. So he's ascending, but he's still like a flex. He's a wide receiver 3. He's a flex. Like, he's not that great. The thing about Swift, though, like, don't get me wrong, and I've said this before, and I was right when we watched week 3. The talent's there. He looks great. I mean, he looks awesome. Like, just really good. But then I was right about, I was like, it's going to probably be a 60-40 split. Well, we just saw it was a 60-40 split. And look, it might not be that way every week. They had a big lead week 3, but that's just how the Eagles are. They never have 100% snap type of guy, and they shouldn't. And they really shouldn't with a guy like Swift, who always gets hurt. And then guess who we have? The ultimate fantasy vulture. And I've seen this. I see this almost every day on social media. What's the play called? The tush push, the quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
The ultimate fantasy vulture, Jalen Hurts. So I opened up Instagram right before the show, and it was the Commanders defensive coordinator today was like, hey, this should be illegal. That's what they were saying. The defensive coordinator said, hey, that play should be illegal. But that tush push, that gets TDs, man. That gets first downs.
Yeah, it does.
And it gets TDs, and it works. Like, did I ever see that play not work? Probably have, but it's so rare. I may not be able to recall 1 or 2 times maybe it didn't work.
I saw one recently, I think maybe last week. Trevor Lawrence did not get it.
No. I'm talking about the Eagles.
Oh, Eagles.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I hear about other teams, and I heard college they tried it too and didn't work. Yeah, and I'm talking about the Eagles. Yeah, I feel like every time it works, So I'm
Yeah.
sure 1 or 2 times it didn't work, and that would be it. Like, that's it. So that play
No,
works
you
like
have to show me that 1
99.
or 2 times.
Yeah, it works at least 99% of the time, and that means that that man's scoring rushing touchdowns. Like, he
Yeah.
just is. And so
Mhm.
you have that, and then you have Gainwell getting 30%, 40% of snaps on top of that. So it's like, I don't really know. I don't see this as a big dub per se. If you're in an 8 team or 10 team league, I can see, okay, maybe you're going for quality, but I don't know. I don't see this as a smash, like, amazing trade.
Yeah.
James Conner's great. I mean, one reason this is great, other than the age, one reason this is great, James Connors plays the Niners this week. I'd be scared because the Niners,
Yeah. That's a terrifying
Niners
matchup.
defense,
Not good.
Niners has the best defense. That's gonna be scary. The spread is like 15 points, dude. It's so bad. Watch what happens when the Cardinals play a real team. It's gonna be scary.
No more Josh Dobbs.
I like this question here. I already answered it in the chat. Would you trade Najee Harris for Kamara? I was talking about trading Najee Harris for a kicker. So damn straight, I would trade Najee for Kamara. Now, I'm not a big Kamara fan. That's crazy because
Of
a
course.
lot of people like Kamara, but Kamara, at least he's an amazing receiver, and we play PPR. So at least he's going to give you that third down receiving role. Like, he's got that locked. And the other running backs haven't done much for the Saints. So there's potential for Kamara to do a lot more. I'll tell you one thing, he's way better than Najee. My God. Najee Harris, dude, how could you even watch that guy in your team? Oh my God. Get him off your team ASAP. I don't understand
Yesterday.
how somebody could do that. If you have Kamara, think about it. You drafted Kamara, you have him stashed for 3 weeks, and some guy offered you Trent Richardson, and you say, "Wow, yes," and you trade. This cannot be a real trade. This has to be a theory.
Like, to your point way earlier, this could only happen to a guy who was like drafting, right before week 1, and he's just been busy
Doesn't
since.
watch. Yeah,
Yeah, it has to be just that guy.
hasn't watched the. I mean, Najee, big name, right? So hasn't seen.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't even know who Trent Richardson is. Don't Jennifer, don't you dare mention the words Trent Richardson.
Oh,
Don't
please
let
don't.
that. Yeah, because people's gonna say, like, oh, you mean like Najee, that guy who looks like Najee Harris now? It's gonna ruin your trade. Oh, here's the
How to
guy who
not sell.
drafted Montgomery. I have
There you
Gibbs in
go.
another league, though. What do you think about him rest of the season? He sucks. It sucks. It's over.
Dude, I'm starting to lose
The
faith
Gibbs
in
thing
dynasty
sucks.
because of the Montgomery contract length. So forget about rest of the season. It's not. Ugh, oh
Yeah,
God.
it's not looking good.
Oh,
This guy just joined. He didn't hear the depressing talk the first 7 minutes of the podcast. But
go
to sum
rewatch
the
it.
first 7 minutes, I mean, we can sum it up. Gibbs it's no good. It's not looking good. You
Yeah,
can't
to sum
trade
up.
him.
Yeah.
You can't trade him, and you probably can't start him. Well, think about this. You
Yeah.
start him when Montgomery's out and he doesn't do much. So it's like, well,
What do you do
I
now?
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, now I mean, it's just game over. So what, are you going to trade him now? Like, nah.
Nah, it's over.
Should I start Lamar or Cousins week 4? This is a good question. I think we're going to go with Lamar because of the rushing yards. Tough
Now,
one
it is a
though.
division matchup. Does that scare you at all? Cleveland Ravens?
Oh
You
yeah,
buy
no,
into that?
everything scares me. Everything's tough, but the Konami code is there, and we have a guy who just absolutely can shatter that.
Yeah.
I mean, like the
Yeah.
most, right? I mean, he's like the number
Yeah.
one
He's the number one
Konami
Russian.
code
Yeah.
shatterer. Then you have, supposedly Fields, and you got AR.
Yep.
But that's it. A guy, he just got 100 rush yards last week. Like,
Wow.
no, he doesn't like
In a loss.
nothing,
Yeah.
dude. He doesn't like
Yeah.
nothing. He just floats along the water, gets you 100 rushing yards. I mean, he didn't even play great. They lost the game.
He lost the
So,
game. Yeah, exactly. Right.
but 100 rush yards, that's 10 fantasy points. And
Great.
that's
That's
like he didn't
perfect.
even do anything. That's not including his passing yards, his passing TDs, his rushing TDs. That's just 10 bonus points. That's when you start the game Contra and you have 10 extra lives. Up, up, down,
Love it.
down. what's it? I don't know. It's the code changes, but up, down, now, left,
I
right,
know
A,
what
B,
you mean.
select,
Yeah,
start.
the old cheat
That's the
codes.
Konami
Oh yeah.
code. That's what it is. That's Konami. Yeah. The same code applies to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all the other Konami games. For those
Oh
that,
yeah.
I feel like I'm getting old. I feel like everything I say, I feel like, oh, it could be old reference.
Nah, everyone knows Teenage
Kon-
Mutant Ninja Turtles. Come on now.
but Konami, do they still make games?
Do they? I
Uh,
would. I would
I
hope
don't think
so.
so. You'd have to
Maybe.
play regular Nintendo to know Konami, I think.
Come on, Nintendo's so big. It's so big,
It is, but I
right?
don't know, dude. I don't know. Like you got to know Contra, Super C, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's really the only time I knew about the code. Um,
Yeah, fair enough.
Montgomery just looks better than Gibbs at this point. He was a beast tonight. Yeah, I know. We talked about this. He looks solid, but I think Gibbs is just not comfortable with the offense yet. Is all.
Yeah, the usage. There's something off. There's something off there. It's not that Gibbs visually looks better because he looks quicker, more explosive, faster. Montgomery looks more like slower, but definitely more powerful. So two different kind of prototypes there. But man, it's just like look at DeAndre Swift in a Detroit uniform compared to now. Like it's a night and day difference for fantasy football. I just think the usage is just off. I don't know. Could be something else. We'll see. Hopefully,
Yeah,
it's better moving forward.
that is weird though. Yeah, they did have DeAndre Swift, who I'd say looks better than Gibbs.
Way better.
I know, yeah, and he's only played 3 games. That's why he wasn't. Remember all these guys? Ha ha! You guys were wrong. They were like Gibbs is so close to Bijan. Look, he's not.
No.
One guy's came out the womb as a workhorse, and one guy was a risky ad, and that was Gibbs. We didn't know what happened. Um, I still have faith in Gibbs. It's just gonna take longer than we thought, which is this is normal for a rookie. A rookie, by the way, that should not have went 12th overall in the NFL draft.
For sure.
He was
He's seen
supposed
with
to
Jonathan
go.
Taylor.
He was supposed to go where like Travis Etienne, Najee, Jonathan
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, exactly. That's where he was supposed to go. Early round
Yeah.
2, super late round 1. He even said he thought he was going to go in the 20s. Like that's what he said. And players usually they're pretty confident. Like they're not going to be like, "Oh, I thought I should have been a day 3 pick." Like they're usually
Yeah.
pretty
No.
confident unless they're like total like they're not going to get drafted, then they're like, whatever.
Josh Rosen.
But yeah, well, Josh Rogan, he's the let's not go on that tangent. Let's not.
It's a
Let's
fun
only
one.
talk about my L's today. All right, stick to the topics here. Let's talk about Ken
Fair enough.
Walker. Yeah, let's not talk about my biggest W's ever, where I tore up the internet. Josh Rosen.
Oh my god.
That guy is so cocky. I just seen a clip of him the other day just talking about like how he's something about Tom Brady and like Super Bowls or something. I'm like, bro, stop. This is like so crazy.
It's cringe. I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, Josh
Anyway.
Rosen. 2-1 in an 8-point PPR, whatever the heck that is. 8, whatever. What does that mean? 8T?
2-1, 18 PPR projected even points this week.
18.
Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Zach Moss, or Nico Collins or Dameon Pierce. Got to flex one, got to drop one.
I think you start Moss, so that was a great ad. Yeah, I think we're starting Moss because Zach Moss apparently is like the workhorse of all workhorses. And guess what? Zach Moss, projected by my algorithms, top 5 running back, tied with Bijan Robinson on my projections.
Oh,
insane! I mean, this guy's just killing it. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. It's weird. Now he actually looks good as far as like a power running back goes. Like he actually looks good. Like I'll say that. He looks better than David Montgomery. I'll tell you that. He looks good.
That's pretty good then.
I'm shocked because that's another L on me. Like I was like, it could be Zach Moss. He's probably the starter, but I don't like him. That's what I said. And I mean, he looks really good. Hey, look at how much the coaches trust him. They go like, no, dude, nobody else is playing. It's
Yeah, it's
literally just Zach.
all him.
It's just Zach Moss. They
I
even
had to read it
fired
twice. I'm like,
they
McCaskey,
fired
100%,
the
I get.
backup. They cut Deion Jackson. Deion
Yeah,
Jackson's
I
on the
saw that too. They cut
practice
Deion
squad.
Jackson,
I
and then
forgot what team. He's on the Ravens. I don't know what team he's on
yeah,
actually, but
whatever team he is on,
he's on
and
the
then
practice squad on another team. Yeah.
the guy they drafted, the one I liked from Northwestern, he's on IR.
Evan
Evan
Hall,
Hull.
yeah. They
Yeah, he's
liked
on
him. They
IR.
liked him.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't really get to see him much. You only got to see him one game, but he's on IR.
I mean, but to your point, there's no one there now. It's
We're
just
moving
Zach
on.
Moss,
We're
which is
moving on. We're
great.
moving on. We got to figure out who to drop. All right.
Sure.
So who does this guy drop? You're not dropping Zay Flowers. I'd reach through the screen and slap you,
No.
dude. It's not happening.
Ooh.
Because that would be my number 2 start. I love Zay Flowers. Pickens, Moss, Nico Collins, Damian Pierce. I'd probably drop Nico Collins, I guess.
I don't
Makes
love it,
sense.
but I guess.
It's
Man.
8th team.
Ah, true. Yeah.
Nico's literally his worst wide
Yeah.
receiver. Or Pickens. Nico and Pickens.
Yeah, one of the two. One of those two receivers.
Those are his worst wide receivers. Like that's just a fact. So
Yeah.
I mean, who do you drop? The running back you drafted in round 5? Or, if I put this in 12-team leagues, round 5 running back or Nico Collins, round 15 wide receiver. I would
Yeah, no brainer.
drop. He's just another wide receiver. Like this guy can go pick up Josh Palmer. He can go pick up Quentin Johnston. Odell's probably on waivers. In this guy's league, let me tell you, Chris Godwin could very well be on waivers. Probably is. I would bet, if I had to bet, I'd bet that Chris Godwin is on this.
Yeah, 18, very possible. You're right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's looking bad. Like, cause I hacked this guy's 10-team league lineup, and his worst players were Roshan, Algier. He has Bijan, that's why Cuff, and Godwin. So I was like, if we have to make a move, we'd have to cut one of those 3. That's a pretty tough choice.
That is a
between
tough
those
cut,
3.
yeah.
But Godwin was one of his cuttable players.
That's a 10 team.
The 10 team, yeah. 8 team is a joke. Like every team is super stacked. Would you play Richardson or Burrow this week and rest of season? This is a really, really tough one, but I'm going to go with Richardson because we just got done talking about the Konami code for 4 minutes. So that's like the second guy to break the Konami code, which just means getting a lot of rush yards at quarterback. So let's go with him. Either one's a great start. Burrow has literally the best matchup, but let's wait for Burrow to get back. Let's maybe see a game where Higgins and Chase both don't suck. I mean, yeah, both play well the same game.
Both are good, yeah.
Yeah, right. And Burrow. Like we got to see all 3 of them. Like usually like only one of the 3 are playing well. And I liked a lot what I saw from the Bengals and from Burrow week 3. Now they face the the Titans is like they're so bad against wide receiver.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Mind-boggling. But you get 25 points. 25, you get 1 point for 25 yards. Anthony Richardson's diving head first into the end zone, man. He's going to get you 8 points off that touchdown. Joe Burrow's going to get you 4.5 points off that touchdown.
Yeah. Big difference. That does matter.
Yeah. So it's close. I love both, but dude, AR is just, it's too many fantasy points. You just see the fantasy points go like it's going crazy.
Cash machine. Oh yeah.
Tecmo Bowl, best game hands down. I mean, I would play that insane. I think I had it on Game Boy too. You just run up and down. It was great, but I don't think it was really. Now I don't really think it's a good game, but when I would play it like 24/7,
dude, nonstop.
I love it. Was just so addicting. But now it's like, how could you? I don't know how you can play.
Yeah, I mean the graphics. That. I mean, like nowadays are getting spoiled.
You just go like this. That's how you just do. You just run and then score a touchdown. Exactly. It's more like a really, really dope Atari game. That's kind of like how it is.
Atari
like
football, basically.
Yeah, it's really cool, but it is what it is. Patrick Mahomes, Amari Cooper, CJ Stroud, or Herbert. What are we talking about in Devontae? Oh, okay. Sorry, I misread that. Mahomes, Amari, Stroud for Justin Herbert and Adams.
Is
Uh,
this super flex?
we'll
I would
just
assume
assume
no,
it's
right?
not. Let's just assume not. Yeah, that's
Okay.
way too. Yeah, I'd take the quarterbacks. Like easy,
Of course, yeah. At
easy,
that point,
easy. Yeah, easy.
yeah,
I like the Adams side a bit. Now this is actually a pretty even trade
decent trade.
because
Yeah.
one guy's on the Raiders, and man, that that team's a firecracker. That team's like a little bit. They're a little bit less likely to implode than the Jets.
I
So
mean, look,
that's
man. When a receiver, star receiver, gets 20 targets and still is unhappy,
wait.
there's some
He
real
said
issues
he
there.
said that was a lie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
You
but I
dispute? Okay.
mean, but
Okay. Well, either
but
way, man,
I'm not.
something's
I'm
going on
not.
there.
I'm not betting my life that was a lie, though. I'm just saying he said it was a
Yeah. Okay.
lie.
You're just
I mean,
okay. I
there's
got it.
no
I
way
got
the man's happy, but I also don't think he like publicly pouted and said trade me now, which is kind of how the media takes it and mushes it up into a new story. I don't think that happened per se. I prefer the Herbert and Adams side. It's an even trade though. Even
it. Yeah.
trade, love it.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like, if you have Mahomes, are you ever gonna start C.J. Stroud?
No, what the
So
heck?
now it's like, so the trade is really Mahomes and Amari for Herbert and Adams. If you think about
In
it,
in a
in a
way,
way.
the bye week, yeah. I mean, but who
Sure, but that's like
cares?
one
Like, it's
week.
just
Yeah.
yeah. Plus, you can maybe even find. I mean, who knows? You can probably find a guy like who knows? Geno Smith, Daniel Jones,
Yeah,
maybe on
some
the
fill-in.
waivers, which is like
Right.
almost as good as C.J. Stroud, if not just as good or better. What's up, Couch? Would you trade Sutton or Jacoby Myers for James Conner? Yes, I don't need to read the rest. We always like RBs. Okay. And for those of you who aren't RB desperate, you guys are spoiled little brats and you guys don't know how it feels because I'm in a couple leagues where I'm starting Tyler Algier. Jerome Ford is my only running back. It's looking bad. Some of it's on my own doing, but a lot of it's also injuries too.
Sure.
By my own doing, I mean I drafted Cam Akers, but some I'm in one league where I got like 5 starting running backs. Like I get it, like that's awesome, but that's rare. A lot of us are really struggling. I got one league where I have 4 or 5 good running backs, but Saquon's hurt, and so it's a little bit rough. Just one injury,
That's
a
a
little
rough
bit
patch.
rough.
That's a rough
Yeah,
patch.
it's
Yep,
I mean,
for
and
sure.
still I got like I did very well and I have depth, but once my number 1 RB goes down, now I'm like, oh crap, who's my RB2? Who do I put in
Yeah.
flex? It's scary. Higgins, Waddle, and Amari Cooper. Which 2 should I start this week? Bench Amari Cooper. That's a close
Yeah.
call. All 3 are
Yeah.
good,
You're
but he
definitely
just
starting Waddle.
Waddle's just, I mean, you drafted him like he's just
Yeah. You have
automatic.
to.
And then Higgins against Tennessee, like, dude, he wants to redeem himself for the last game where he dropped everything. What do you think
That's
will
true.
happen to Moss when JT is back? When and if JT is back, or and then or he gets traded to the
Traded
Ravens. Yeah.
to
So
the Ravens.
the I that's the thing. When JT comes back, Moss is kind of irrelevant, okay? But that's a big if and when. So we
Yeah.
don't know what's gonna happen. The real question should be like, what the heck's gonna happen with JT? So that's a big question mark, especially when the owner Jim Irsay is just he's unhinged. Yeah, that guy's just he's so weird. I feel like he really thinks he's one of those guys that thinks he's so cool, but he's just lame. But when you have $1 billion, nobody tells you you're lame. That's what's awesome. No one's
Exact.
told him. So everything he just thinks he's just spitting fire, but he just looks like an unhinged idiot. And sometimes it's better just to shut up, dude. Jim Irsay, if you're listening to this podcast, shut the
Take
hell
notes.
up. Great advice from me. Best advice I've ever given as a
For
fantasy
real.
analyst. Dion's the Browns practice guy now. Man, the NFL moves so fast. Deion Jackson, practice
Deion
squad for the
Jackson. Yep.
Browns. That's the name that's the team I didn't know. Barry Sanders and Bo Jackson. No, that's not the Konami codes. I guess that is the
It's
Tecmo
a
Bowl.
RB, the Tecmo Konami code.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Jer- um, what's his name? What's his first name? Jerome Ford, right?
Jerome
Jerome
Ford. Yeah,
Ford, the guy I picked up in every league. I almost forgot his first name. Jerome Ford, Derrick Henry,
I love
Rochan
this. I love
Johnson,
this.
uh,
This is the perfect nickname for Roshan Johnson.
Rochan. Being on
Rochan.
the Bears, it makes sense. He never
Yeah,
dies. Yeah, he's always fighting,
exactly.
fighting for more carries. You never
There you
count him
go.
out. Start to, uh, okay, so that's a that's a tough one.
It's a
Um,
tough one. I'm thinking we bench Roshan. Maybe not. You feeling good about? You're not feeling
well,
that great about
well,
Derrick
first
Henry?
of all, Derrick Henry got like 2 points, but he's a must start. All right, so we're
Yeah.
starting Derrick Henry. Okay, and then we got Ford. Yeah, no, you're right. We're benching Roshan. He's on a terrible team. It's actually pretty close between Ford and Roshan, believe it or not. But yeah, no, you're
Interesting.
right. You're right. You would just bench.
Okay.
He's my sleeper start this week,
I got
and
you. I
I
got
love
you.
starting him. But like people that are in 10, this guy's probably like in a 10-team league. In a 10-team league, he's probably more of a bench. Yeah. But in a
Yeah.
12-team league, I think he's starting him.
Sneaky start for sure.
Yeah,
I'm
in
with
your
you.
flex. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Godwin, Hopkins, Lockett, Michael Thomas, start 3. Okay, so let's bench Michael Thomas. You got me there. The Chargers guys are there. Okay, that's too long. Sorry. I appreciate you. Yeah, your waivers are good. You're very happy. You love the Fantasy Couch podcast. That's essentially what I'm getting from there.
That's all we need to know. Good.
Okay. Camara X Swift. If this is a trade, I like Swift much more than Camara.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. I don't know what this is from Twitch, and they're really cool there. So I don't know. They don't. Is that a trade question? Do you get that, Sushane? That's my
Not
guess.
with the X. I've never seen that one. That's a new
Camara
format for me.
X. Camara X. Well, it's the new hit
It's a whole
single
Twitter
on a
wave, you know?
mixtape coming out. It's starring
Hey.
Camara and DeAndre Swift. They did a collab, and so it's gonna be hot fire. But whose
Oh,
verse
Jameer
do I
Gibbs didn't
like
get
more?
invited?
No,
Did
no,
Jameer
he
Gibbs not
didn't.
get invited?
No, he didn't. They didn't even call him. But whose verse is better? DeAndre Swift, way better verse, coming straight out of Philadelphia. Fire. All
That
right.
Philly fire.
Camara, it's like, I like some parts of the verse, like, it's good, but 16 bars, top to bottom, it's DeAndre Swift. Thoughts on Tajay
I love that.
Spears?
I
Look,
absolutely
Tajay
love it.
Spears, he's a good stash, but I'm telling you, I don't think Derrick Henry fell off. Matter of fact, you notice what people say. They look at the last week of football, and like that's the only narrative, right? You really can't base anything off until you see 5 weeks of football. And I mean, Derrick Henry, he didn't look like that week 2. He looked good. Week 1, he didn't even look that bad. So I'm not gonna be like, okay, I'm not gonna sum up Derrick Henry's outlook on just 1 year. So even if but here's the thing, because this conversation is mostly about Derrick Henry and the Titans, believe it or not, because this guy's a running back. Tajay Spears, I'm bringing it up just so I'm not mistaken. It's not like this guy's killing it with his opportunities. Okay. So he's gotten almost 50% of the snaps, whatever reason there might be for that. He's only putting up 5 fantasy points a game. So it's not
Yeah.
like Tony Pollard. Remember, fantasy owners are very frustrated. Give Tony Pollard the rock. If this guy's not Tony Pollard, and this is not the Cowboys, who have a really good O line and could, score a ton of rushing touchdowns and get big plays with the running back position. Nah, a stashing Tajay Spears, I love the idea. It's probably not going to amount to anything if Henry stays healthy. It's just not. Like, we need a guy on this team to get 100% of the snaps, and that's going to barely equal 15 fantasy points on this team. So it's like, I mean, I'd rather have Warren. I'd rather have, a better sleeper cell, a more valuable handcuff, Elijah Mitchell. Right? They're getting basically the same fantasy points, which is like nothing. but one guy
Yeah,
would be a top 5 running back. Tajay Spears would not be a top 5 running back. He'd be top
exactly.
like 16, which is great if Henry gets hurt, but like that's your upside though. I'd rather have Warren. I'd rather have Zach Charbonnet. I'd rather have Roshan Johnson. I'd rather even have the other Bears running back, Khalil Herbert. I mean,
Yeah,
there's just a long list of guys I'd rather have. Of course, I'd rather have Kamara. He has a bigger name. Anyway, like
better bets
great
for fantasy
stash,
points for sure.
but it's more about the team and the guy. There's a guy in front of him, and the team sucks. Like the team's really inconsistent. It's just they whatever mojo they had. Like remember, guys, when Derrick Henry was just like an average running back in the NFL, then they started running the outside zone, the one cut read, and then Derrick Henry took off. Whatever mojo they had from those years is pretty much all gone.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
sad
dying away
team
if it's
now.
not already gone.
And they keep drafting all these terrible quarterbacks. So it's like Tannehill still remain. You know who their best quarterback was? He's on the Cardinals now. It was Josh Dobbs. That dude was great. That was their best quarterback.
That's
Now he's
stunning,
gone.
but that's true somehow. My God,
Yeah, dude, he
yikes!
was their best quarterback. But now they have some guy who eats mayonnaise, and Malik Willis doesn't Malik Willis doesn't even look like he's NFL ready, like at all.
We're not even close. And
It's
Ryan
like
Tannehill needs to like get fired ASAP.
he looks like Zach Wilson.
Bro, I'd
It's
rather I'd rather have Zach Wilson. At least he's starting games.
nah. Malik Willis, I think, can run faster.
Yeah, but Zach Wilson is getting snaps technically. He,
He's
he- he's putting up
bro,
points.
but
Even though
but
the team-
Robert's but they're about to have Robert Sala's head on a pike in the locker room, right next to the Gatorade. When everyone walks in, just see the guy
I don't
beheaded.
know. I think there's no point in debating Zach Wilson and Malik Willis, honestly.
All right, whatever. I have a question for the chat. It's time for you guys to step up. All you guys asking me fantasy questions, like I can predict the future. All right, right now, just straight up. There's no like in fantasy and you just got to be straight up with it right now. Zach Wilson or Malik Willis? Who's better? Who's better? That's it. Just who's better? Just all
All right, here we
around
go.
question. Zach
I'm
Wilson or
anxious to
Malik
see.
Willis? I think it's pretty close, and I wouldn't hate anybody saying Zach. I would say Malik Willis because I've seen a huge sample size of Zach Wilson. So you know what I mean? I'd rather I'd rather
Sure.
spin the wheel again. Maybe Malik
I
Willis
got
took
you.
a small leap. And I think with his athleticism, that could be better than Zach Wilson.
No, you know what? I'm with you there
You're,
with that
you're getting
sentiment.
crushed. You're getting crushed
I'm getting
on the
crushed.
ball. Look, you're getting crushed.
I
Bro.
see two guys. I see two guys right now. 1 and 2. It's all right.
No, that you can't
Hey,
answer
there's one for
Jameis
Jameis.
Winston.
There you go.
Oh, one for no. That's
Oh man.
I said this guy said Jameis
All right.
Winston.
I think that last point you made definitely
You see what I'm saying?
helps you a little bit.
The thing when the regular season started, Malik Willis didn't even look that athletic because he's fast, he's athletic, but it's like running as a QB. There's two things. One, if you're super fast and athletic, that helps, like a Lamar. But also, man, there's this certain thing. I don't know what it is exactly. I know it when I see it. I just don't know what it is. Some QBs they run smart. Dak when he was younger, like I loved how he ran. And you know who did it really good was Kaepernick, who was like he wasn't great at juking or nothing. He was a lawn strider, but like just the timing of it when he took off, it was crazy. It was like anytime it could be a 20-yard touchdown or 40 yards. Jameis Winston, he's slow, but I like how he runs. I mean, of course, Lamar is like the whole package. Like he's just, he chooses, he knows how to do
And
it well,
smart,
and he's
right.
athletic. Yeah, but like Malik Willis to me, like he can't throw, so like he's always running, and he's just not that top end speed. So it's like it's bad. But Zach Wilson for sure. I mean, he's just run. When Zach Wilson runs, he runs backwards. So it's not,
That's true,
that's
man.
not doing it. He spin moves, runs backwards, spin moves, runs backwards, throws it 17 yards. And I mean, sometimes it's complete for 2 yards, but that's like his biggest play, like a 2-yard completion.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, Josh does it.
It's not pretty, but that comment you're showing right now is definitely still on my mind as well
So
with Josh Dobbs. My goodness.
one person said Zach Wilson. I mean, but didn't like to admit it though, as far as that vomit emoji.
Hold your
But
nose and pick Zach Wilson. I guess.
that's tough. But that anyway, I don't know why we got into that or this and that. But I
It's
think
late.
I don't know. I feel it's a strong. I feel like it's a good convo. Should I start Kelsey or I guess this is Taylor Swift? God, you infiltrated. You're a cow. How dare you?
Bro,
I'm
I
not gonna.
definitely thought we were talking DeAndre Swift. I missed that one.
Oh nah. See this guy. See, he's a longtime couch fan member, and this and that. So I won't overreact and ban you from the family. I won't disown you from the family. But don't do this ever again. Don't give me the Taylor Swift, dude. Come on.
Hey man, didn't someone
Stop.
in your league add him for like a couple fab or something like that?
That was a terrible joke on my end.
Hey
You know
man, you
what's
got a couple people fooled, I think.
dude? Oh no, what's fun? I didn't even think a lot of people got fooled and they went and checked.
Unbelievable. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like,
That is hilarious to me
but
that people
especially if
actually
you
went out and
know
checked.
me, like everybody knows I make dumb jokes like that. But people legit checked and people told me I fooled them. So if you guys didn't see one of my tweets, um, Scout added Taylor Swift for $400, and he only did it just because he's got Travis Kelsey, so he wanted to get that stack.
Get a little stack.
In
Yeah,
case,
I feel
I
you.
yeah,
It's a lot
but
of fab though, A lot of fab.
that was all the rest of his fab. He only had
Whew.
$400 left. He had to go get Taylor Swift, and
Well, hopefully no injuries to that relationship.
so actually,
That's all I can say.
I talked to 3 people about this joke, and all
Yeah.
3 believed it. So I think a lot of people fell for it.
That's
So like
crazy, dude.
my girlfriend, well, she doesn't really play fantasy, but she thought it was like, one of those promotions like McDonald's like having a sauce.
Yeah, for sure.
Like McDonald's came out with
Promotion.
they have their like you know what I mean? Like the new sauce, like some celebrity came out with their sauce to dip their nuggets in. So she thought it was real because it's
I mean,
like
dude, it's a great
a
Photoshop.
promotion. Yeah, I
It's a
know how to use
really good photo.
Photoshop well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I made sure everything was pixel perfect. By the way, like there's no, there's not one
Good.
pixel that's off. Yeah, but she thought it was real. Mike, I think, thought it was real because he's like, "Oh, is this real?" And then
Yeah.
this
Yep.
fantasy football Discord, he said, "You got me." He's like, "What? That's crazy." I'm like, "Dude, what do you guys?" I think, anyway. I guess we had to bring this up since somebody brought it up, right? This
Yeah,
is
it's also a topic,
can you read
for some
this one?
reason.
Because I don't want to read.
Yeah. Trade Jonathan Taylor and Geno Smith for Calvin Ridley and Dallas Goddard. 2 tight end league. I've got Musgrave and I've got Kincaid. I already have AJ Brown, so I don't want to stack double Eagles, but I do need a better tight end.
Yeah, I like Calvin Ridley.
I like the upside.
Do it.
Yeah. Also, JT, such a risk right now. Get something. Get something tangible while you still can.
Yeah, I mean, we got this guy right here, so I think
Yeah.
that's that's the right answer. Need help at RB? Got offered Derrick Henry and Ridley for Lamb and Kendre Miller. That's easy smash. Go get Derrick Henry and Ridley. Easy
Yep,
smash.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Lamb and Kendre's not been killing it at all, at all.
No.
At least you're getting one of my favorite players in Calvin Ridley, and we'll see. Hey, maybe the Titans have the lead sometimes, and that's going to bode well for Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Didn't Henry back up DeMarco Murray for 2? Yeah. So Derrick Henry was a great prospect. I think pretty much everybody liked him. And then the coach, I'm not good with names, but the coach came out and was like, listen up. He's like, we're going to be running exotic smash mouth offense. Nobody knew what that meant. All we knew, it didn't work for Derrick Henry. And it barely worked for DeMarco Murray. And like whatever the situation was there, I don't remember if there was another running back. So it took like 2 years, 3 years. Derrick Henry was always mid. He was always mediocre. Then they took out the exotic part and just made it smash mouth. They did like an outside zone where basically he's running towards the sideline. Then because Derrick Henry is so fast, he goes, all right, I'm going to cut it in or I'm going to just take it out to the outside. And he just had to make that one read. And ever since they did that, it was nuts. Like that a whole offense took off. Nobody could stop Derrick Henry. I think one year he was even RB1 in fantasy. So that's what happened. Derrick Henry took off. And I don't, as far as like, let's not talk about fantasy for a second. As far as like him still having it, I don't think he's totally out of steam or anything like that. Um, he's probably not as good as he was 3-4 years ago, but I think this is a lot to do with the Titans, their blocking, their quarterback falling off, them not having the lead. They used to be a real team. Didn't they make the playoffs like 3 years ago?
As
Yeah.
the one seed, I'm pretty sure.
I think they lost to the Ravens. Nah, I don't know if they won. No, I don't want.
As the one
But they
seed, yeah.
lost. Didn't they lose to the Ravens?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the year when they had that top seed. I'm
They had
pretty
a
sure, or
1
maybe they beat the
seed?
Patriots because remember they beat the Patriots in Tom's last game in New England
They
or at the
did?
Patriots. They
Oh,
did
I
in the
don't know.
playoffs. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember any of this,
it could have
but
been that year.
but they were. I mean, they were a solid team, so they made the playoffs whatever 1 or
Yeah,
2 years, and that's if that was the case with the team, then I think Derrick Henry would still be viable. He wouldn't be the RB1, maybe not even RB4, but he would be a top 10 RB. It's just
yeah.
unfortunate right now.
To your point that he's still got some steam left or some gas left in the tank. I mean, his rate of slowing down is way slower than Zeke, for example, because Zeke feels like he just fell off kind of overnight almost. Derrick
Yeah, I mean,
Henry,
ever
a
since
little bit
his
slow.
rookie year. Yeah, I mean, it's been
Yeah.
bad. Roshan or Zeke week 4? Let's go with Roshan. This is a
Easy.
great question though. Well,
Oh,
people
really?
think Ramondre kind of sucks and Ezekiel Elliott kind of outperformed him, but um
I would go
Roshan for
Roshan
the
easily.
upside. Bro, Broncos, Bears. That's kind of a good game in a way.
Yeah, it
It's
could be a
like
sneaky decent game.
it's
Yeah,
like the toilet bowl,
in a way,
which is
yeah. I mean, both
exciting.
teams are going to try to win.
Fantasy
I would
made
think.
the worst, most boring game that you're supposed to be the most checked out into something somewhat exciting, and that's what the Broncos Bears are. That game it's the toilet bowl. Like I want to see, will DJ Moore score a 50-yard touchdown? Will Justin Fields
Be
get
startable. Yeah,
70 rushing yards? Will Roshan Johnson have like hands down his best game of the season? Russell Wilson's going to be throwing it. And like we talked about Javonte Williams, right? The plan was the medical data is pointing towards him ramping him up week 4, week 5, week 6. Maybe it starts against the Bears. So there's a lot of storylines that we want to see. And also who wins? Because the Broncos are favored to win, but not by that much, only by 3.5.
yeah.
What's
I
up,
think the
Aaron?
Broncos will win handily, but we'll see.
I think so
We'll see how
too.
that one
But
goes.
I mean, you know how it just one pick six or something. You never
Yep,
know.
one unlucky bounce here or there.
I just got offered Mixon for Montgomery. Ooh, that's a tough one. Man, Gibbs looked. I didn't like Gibbs tonight. Like, let's just talk straight football, right? Like, who can kind of get more snaps later on?
Yeah.
I don't think
Um,
Gibbs is looking far off, man.
he looks fine. It's not that he looks bad. It's just I think that the brand of football that Dan Campbell wants to run is
Yeah,
going to
that's
go
my
through
point.
Montgomery. Yeah,
As
yeah.
far
Okay,
as
so
the
we're in
team,
agreement then. Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, he didn't look good tonight, though. I don't think. But as far as like like who's the guy, I don't think they're anywhere close to giving Gibbs that many snaps.
it won't even be 55-45 anytime soon. I don't think, man. And that's like even if it's 55-45, what do you do with that?
Also, if you give Montgomery the ball, you're winning. That's hard to go with. That's
That's
how they that's
true.
how they beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
And I mean, good things happened tonight, obviously, when they give Montgomery the ball.
that's a good point. Actually, wow, I didn't think of it like that, but that's a good point.
Well, I'm just saying like that. That's
I mean,
gonna
you can beat down an opponent slowly.
like
That's just
the running back coach isn't gonna yell at Dan, like, look, Dan Campbell, we gotta have a meeting. You gotta give Gibbs more touches. He's gonna be like, what are you talking about, dude?
right.
Like, dude, we obviously have the winning formula here. Like, we're doing good. We got Amon Ra, we got Laporta, we got Josh Reynolds and
I don't know,
David
man. I
Montgomery.
think we're both leaning Montgomery even over Joe
That's
Mixon.
tough though. I'm so torn. This is a really tough question.
Good
'Cause
question.
Joe
Absolutely.
Mixon, he's the man, but he just hasn't been
He's
on
is
fire.
the
They throw the
efficiency
ball a
back?
lot.
Is he what?
He's
How's the
okay.
efficiency? It's okay.
He's
Okay, it's all
okay.
right. It's all
Yeah, he's
right. It's all
okay,
right.
but he's the man though. 75% of
Yeah.
snaps every game. This is a team that it runs through Joe Burrow, kind of like the Bills in a way. Like the Bills run through Josh Allen, regardless
Okay.
of
You know
what's
what?
going on.
Now that I'm looking at the numbers, I think I'm gonna lean Joe Mixon. Here's why: because I see the obviously look today's 34-point game for Montgomery. I mean that's not gonna happen every single week, and I'm sure Joe Mixon will have one of those at some point in the season. Fine, but I'm looking at the stats. Right, it's roughly the same. We got 11 or 12 points from Montgomery. You get 10, 13, 14 from Mixon, and the Bengals have looked terrible. While in the meanwhile, the Lions have looked great. So, we can go through, like, we would expect at some point, the Lions are not going to win every single game. The Bengals are not going to lose every single game. They're going to be some hot streaks and some cold streaks. So, if this is the so and so, the quote unquote cold streak for the Bengals, like, man, maybe
I'm
Mixon
gonna I'm
can
gonna
turn
go
it up a little
mix.
bit.
I'm gonna go Mixon as well. That's a tough one, but they
It's tough.
also face the Browns, Ravens. Like week 4, I don't like him against the Titans, but like I don't know. I guess Mixon's like at least he's an easy like I'm starting him every week, no questions. Um, at least you have that. Like he's got a high
Yeah.
floor, no question marks. Should I start CD versus the Patriots or Cooper versus the Ravens? I'm gonna probably go with Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Patriots corners are really scary, man. Really
The
scary.
Ravens don't have any corners right now. They're all injured.
All hurt. Yep.
Yeah, Montgomery's pretty much a must start. Yeah, it is what it is. Go get Mixon, man. So at least you'll be starting him.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Brees Hall rest of the season? And this topic's all about the Jets. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's the most disappointing, the team that's ready to implode. Like it's about that, man. I mean, I don't know. Like Brees Hall, I think he's 100% back. He is amazing. He's one of the best running backs in the entire league. He's just Zach Wilson's back there. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, man. That whole team is just. I mean, they turned that team, the Jets. They were gonna look like that old school Niners team.
Oh,
Elite
yeah.
defense,
Honestly. Hmm.
efficient, every now and then breaking off a 20-yard run. Just teams wouldn't want to play them. Now, um, they look horrible. They look like the Steelers with Kenny
It's
Pickett.
gonna be one of those things where like the defense is so good and the offense is so bad that like at some point, like guys like Sauce Gardner and their interior guy Quinton Williams, they're just gonna start checking out. They're just gonna be totally mentally checked out, and the whole season's just gonna spiral. I mean, I've been seeing like on like these other like the like ESPN shows and whatever, like they're saying like Zach Wilson like should not be starting again and whatever. Like it's I don't know if I'm gonna go that far, but like man, it's damaging. Like, Brees Hall should be great. Garrett Wilson, we didn't even talk about Garrett Wilson. He should be an absolute stud. People were saying um, before this season he could take that Devontae Adams type leap, and I mean, how do you not believe it after what you saw last season? No Aaron Rodgers, whole thing just goes to the dump.
Yeah, and defenses are
Absolutely crazy.
playing you different. Like, what are they doing? They're not worried about the pass. Zach Wilson, like he
Yeah,
sacks himself, and you were really underplaying these storylines, man. I've heard some crazier stuff, but when I say Zach Wilson sacks himself, like this is actual, like this is I'm not exaggerating. Like there's been, I think I've seen him get sacked last year by himself, and I've seen him get sacked this year by himself. What I'm saying is basically a ghost sacked him, so
yeah.
nothing happened, and he just falls like that. So if you're a defense, like
It's
you don't
so
have to
bad, dude.
Yeah, it's so different when you're playing Aaron Rodgers. So now all you have to do is kick a couple field goals and stop the run. So it's all about the team. So I have no faith in Brees Hall because I have no faith on the Jets. By the way, I haven't confirmed if this is true, and that's why I didn't post it, but there is a story that an anonymous player threw a football and hit Sala in the head, and it
Yeah,
started
I
a
saw
big
that.
brawl. Yeah, in our group chat. And
Yeah.
other reports, more reputable sources are saying like this team's ready to implode. Robert Sala's Zach Wilson apologist. The defense hates it. And I'm like, the defense hates it. I was like, dude, I saw Michael Carter and Garrett Wilson on the sideline. They look like they hated it too. I mean, we saw that just on TV, just watching the game on the main broadcast. Like we didn't have to do any reasons. Just during the game, we see Michael Carter chewing out his RB coach. We see Garrett Wilson like losing it. Like, and I mean, I would lose it too if I was him. Like, because
Oh
he's
my
so
God. Yeah,
good.
for real. He's
It's
getting wasted now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah.
crazy. What another thing is talking about the butt fumble. It's like this is the same team where we talked about with Sam Darnold seeing ghosts and the butt fumble, and it's like the same exact stuff again. This guy's falling, and ghosts are
It's
causing him to
crazy.
fall. I mean, like yeah.
Jets be the Jets, truly.
Trevor Simeon to replace Wilson at some. The thing is like Trevor Simeon sucks, but he is better than Zach Wilson. So I'm gonna say yes. It's a move I think they have to do just based off like the team imploding. Like they're
Hey
like,
man,
dude, put somebody
since
else back
Trevor
there.
Simeon's name was brought up, I've got the funniest story for you. This happened yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. All right. So someone thought Trevor Simeon was Joe Burrow's backup. Okay. So this was before that Monday game. Someone thought Trevor Simeon was Joe Burrow's backup, so he trades for him a fourth round pick. Okay, and then he drops him because he realizes, oh wait, I screwed up. It's that Jacob Browning guy. It's not Trevor Simeon. So then the guy who traded away Simeon adds him this morning for $0 to add.
Oh, that story wasn't that crazy, but yeah.
Hey, it's one of our captains. Got a free
no,
fourth round
no,
pick.
no. It just shows how messy the season is.
Yeah.
We're doing backup quarterbacks. It's just been nuts with quarterbacks and running backs.
Yeah. Hey, it always is. It always is.
You think they would matter if they gave him more carries, even with Wilson's? That's the thing, man. Like, I'm not the coach there, and I'm just gonna say, like, I think there's that coaching staff smarter than me. I don't think it would matter because what are the defenses playing, right? If the defense is like selling out to stop the run, it's like, I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's nothing you can really do. Like, it's done.
Yeah.
That's why the quarter. So I was on this one podcast as a guest. It was a sports podcast. The podcast was no one's listening to it. It's lame, whatever. But interesting topic. I was like, guys, since they talk about all sports, all the time, I was like, guys, wouldn't you guys agree that quarterback's the most important position in all sports? And like, well, because I do football, so I just thought that was like I thought that was like a dumb question, to be honest. But it started a debate, and I was like, well, who else? And then this hockey head was like, these two guys were on the podcast. There's like four of us. He's like, maybe the goalie in hockey. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, like, the goalie only kind of plays like one. I don't know hockey that well, but like, I get it could be the most important in hockey, but that's just not the same. If the goalie also
No.
scored goals, then yeah, I get that. But like, he's
Sure.
only doing one thing. And then they mentioned point guard, and I was like, yes, but there's a ton of great basketball players who are 6'1". So I was like, in the NBA right now, there's 40 really good point guards. Right.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of them.
True
There's not
fact.
40 good quarterbacks
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Oh,
Nope.
40?
Not
No
even
way. It's not
not
even
even
20.
30. Yeah,
Read about 30. It might not even be 20, bro.
It's tough. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So there's a ton of point because everybody is, for NBA standards, short. Like there's not a lot of 7-footers. I get that. But, nobody can say centers the most. So I think without question, and it's not even close, even though football is such a team sport and coaching matters so much, quarterback without question is by far the most important position in all of sports. And that's why we're seeing the Jets suck so much. It don't matter what they do, bro. If you have Zach Wilson there getting sacked by ghosts and running
Oh,
15 yards back and throwing 2 yards, and that's the biggest play of the game, uh, you're screwed. I mean, this is nothing you can do, bro. There's nothing you can do. That's like us right now. Everybody on this live stream gathering up. We pick the best quarterback and put him out there on the Jets. Nothing. You're not going to win the game. It ain't happening. Yeah, stand
there's
no
gonna be
chance.
nothing you can do about it. It's crazy, but
Oh man, it's clearly the most important. And you agree with that. I mean, I didn't really ask you,
yeah,
but
I
it's
agree. I don't need to say anything.
slam dunk,
I'm with you.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
slam
Well,
dunk, easy,
and I'm
easy.
not saying like they were dumb. Like it would actually a great like I was being more educated, because I didn't know anything about hockey, but like it was a cool debate. But I just thought that was an easy question though. Like I'm like, duh. Like I can't even think of any position that comes close. Apparently a goalie in hockey, which I didn't
I
know.
have one. I have one, but it spurs a different debate entirely of individual versus a team, and that would be like tennis, like singles tennis, because it's literally just you versus one
Oh,
other guy.
we're talking
But
team
that's not a
sports.
team, right?
I didn't. It
Yeah,
was definitely the combo was definitely team sports.
there you
Well,
go.
yeah,
Then
obviously, when
that's
there's
basically
one
it.
player on the team,
Yeah,
obviously that guy's like, yeah, logic, yeah, like
and
this.
that's the
He's
only
obviously
thing I
more
can think of,
important.
which is
Yeah,
like cheating. Yeah, that's the whole point.
yeah,
That's
like
the whole point. I'm basically cheating by saying that. So
yeah. Well, I guess the guy who carries the bags in golf, he's important, but not not really.
hey man,
Uh,
he's simply just an MVP. The caddy guy, absolutely.
what MVP?
MVP, most valuable player. MVP.
No, no, no. That guy, he actually has a job. He suggests like
Yeah, I
the
know. I know.
golfer,
They get
but
paid
I
pretty
mean, like
well. Yeah.
he's only like 0.1%. I feel like of the golfer's success. Like that's it. It's all about the golfer. Yeah.
Yeah. I see. I
Uh,
see. Okay,
all
fair
right,
enough.
enough. Let's answer a couple before we get too far off. Got a
Yeah.
trade question? Ignore if not allowed. No, we're good. We're doing Q&A. Here, look what we're doing. Let's hit the Q&A. There we go. Got offered Derek. Dang, everyone's with the Derrick Henry, huh?
Derrick Henry, bro. Wow.
Derrick, because he just had 2 fantasy points. It makes sense. Derrick Henry and Michael Pittman for Debo and Pierce. Well, I
I'm
like
taking
Henry
Henry and
more
Pittman.
than I'm taking. Yeah, give me
Yeah.
that. I like it. You're selling high on Debo, who's by the way, my dog's named Debo. So I'm a huge Debo fan. A huge Debo
He's a
fan.
good
But
player too. It's not like
you're
you're
selling
yeah.
high on Debo though. Ayuk's back. Ayuk looks fantastic. So you're selling high on
Right.
Debo. I like that. And I mean, we do have Pierce here as a sell high because he just got a touchdown wherever
Yep.
this. Oops, we.
Go down a little bit.
Oh no,
And I gotta go up.
huh? Oh, here he
There
is.
he is.
Here he is. Oh, we
Yep.
don't have a picture of him. That's right. Yeah. So I like that. We did have sell high Henry a while ago, but not all trades are perfect. It gets messy. And this guy agrees. Henry all the way.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah.
I agree. Should I just Wildcat Brees Hall and bench? Well, I think it's past your bedtime.
I don't know what Wildcat Brees Hall is, but that sounds like a really exciting fantasy football offense. I want to be a part of that one.
Oh, I thought it. See, I can't read. I thought he said, "Should I?" He's saying the Jets. I
Oh,
get
the
it now.
Jets. Yo,
Should
that's not
should
bad.
see? I
That's not
can't
bad.
read. I can't read. So I thought he's talking about his fantasies. He's saying like,
Same, yeah.
"Hey," he's saying, "Hey, yo, the Jets should just Wildcat Brees Hall and bench Wilson." You know what? That's smart, at least for some plays. You got to Taysom Hill it. Like you got to play 11 on 11, like because the quarterback's doing nothing. He's just like a decoy out there. He's that dummy that when I was taking lifeguard classes, we always did CPR on the dummy. That's Zach Wilson. He's just that plastic dummy. Like
Oh my god, that's terrible. It's true. It's the reality of it.
That's it. So
My
might as well
god.
have 11 guys hitting 11 guys. And that's why when you got Taysom Hill in the lineup, he usually does pretty well. Like it's tough to
Yeah.
stop that because you got 11. If you got 10 good blockers, man, that works well. With Zach Wilson, he's not even a good blocker. Get him out of there. Have him sit on the bench.
Does he do anything well? I don't know. Oh
Give that man
boy.
a Microsoft Surface to hold for a couple plays at least. Let's go
Yeah, end
Niners.
one.
That's right. Oh, no problem, More. What realistic expectations for Jonathan Taylor? Oh, it's a huge question mark. I'm not even going to say it. Maybe he plays week 5. I would lean towards him not doing that. Maybe he pouts a lot more. Maybe he wants a trade. Maybe he gets traded. Maybe Jim Irsay's unhinged and doesn't trade him. I have no clue. That's why I've been just telling people like it's better not to have that headache. Not trustworthy. Yeah, I mean, you just
Fact.
now if he gets traded to the Ravens, let's say, which isn't the ideal landing spot because Lamar Jackson, but still, I mean, he'll be the man there. It'll be great. Like then I'll be like, all right, he's probably back. He's ready. Like he's motivated. But the Ravens have to want him, have to give him a good offer, and crazy man Jim Irsay has to say yes. I
Seems like it's
traded
gonna
away
happen.
JSN and Joshua Kelly for Rashad White tonight. Thoughts? Good trade. I love JSN, but I mean, who's Josh Kelly? Like Josh Kelly is going to be one more mediocre start. Bye week. I don't know if you know this, Ricky. Chargers have a bye week 5, so it's over. Joshua Kelly's already a pumpkin. So I don't know. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
to
it's already
happen.
been terrible.
So after Eckler comes back, I don't know what's worse than a pumpkin. I guess he's just going to turn into like plasma. I know it's not even gonna be solid. He's just gonna melt away. Yeah, he's gonna melt. He's gonna melt. He's gonna turn into pumpkin spice latte. Like it's gonna be nothing.
It's done. The Josh Kelly experiment is almost over.
This guy says Jim Irsay rest of season equals not trustworthy. Yeah, I mean Jim Irsay is
Yeah.
really the main. See, with
Yeah.
running backs, there's always another factor. That's why we have the situation with running backs. Like it's heavily reliant on contracts and the team and blocking, and sometimes unhinged team owners like Jim Irsay who don't know how to shut
When
up.
has Jim Irsay been trustworthy? Seriously.
When he took a hiatus and shut up for 4 years.
There you go. Done.
When he was, oh, sorry, I took too much prescription medication, and then he shut up for 4 years. That was his best. I loved that when he just didn't say anything, but he's like, hey, I'm back on Twitter.
Oh god.
Nope, go back. All right, we're gonna end it there. That was fun.
Jim Irsay.
You can check out the audio version of the podcast or on YouTube. It's the replay, the video version, or on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, the whole shebang. We're there. All right, guys. Good luck this week in fantasy and good luck in dynasty. Peace out.